Hey everyone, this is Darren Benton with Performance Motorcoaches. I want you to pan around a little bit, see if anybody can kind of gather where we are at today. We are not in Texas, we're not the dealership. We are up a few blocks from our home in Indiana. We have a unit here we wanted to do a video on. This is a 2023 Classic CMR. We spend about half our time in Texas and about half our time up here. This allows us to have more interaction with the factory, kind of double check everything as it gets produced, and then for the units that don't go back to Texas, we're able to triple check everything before it gets on the road to its new owner. So we are at the Elkhart campground, just a few miles down from Renegade there in Bristol, so we're pretty familiar with the area. I definitely encourage anybody that wants to come out and do a factory tour, give us a call. We'll be happy to try to orchestrate it for you guys and just kind of provide more of a hands-on experience whenever you're talking about custom coaches. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you hear a tractor run by or dogs or whatever, it's going to be a part of the gig. But anyway, so CMR, this is a 4-slide coach, is opposing seating, opposing slide floor plan, very common floor plan, probably our number 2 in the way of floor plans for the Renegade Classic. So 23, so a few things we'll talk about that will change for 24. A few different things we were able to do custom on the interior to kind of accommodate the customer's needs and wishes. As far as the chassis itself, it is a Freightliner Cascadia. It's the 126, so it's a little bit longer hood. For anybody that was just looking at it, if you don't see this little centerpiece, that will be the short hood. This unit was, of course, cleaned a week ago when we first parked it. Lots of tree poop has come on it, so it's a little bit dirtier than it was a week ago. We're able to get the video until today, but this is the long hood, so it's a 600 horse. We optioned for the DT transmission. It's the DT12, which is an automated 12-speed transmission. So it feels a little bit different. We've done plenty of drive-along videos, but it is the 16-liter, basically a 15.6 liter, made it to the DT12 transmission, kind of my go-to power plant, and I think it's probably one of the best driving trucks out on the market itself. So we did a custom paint job for them. A lot of people are going more of a single tone, monotone paint schemes, just because in the automotive world, you're not driving a car with stripes and swoops and swirls. And so I really like the single tone paint jobs. Very good look, very unique look, and it commands a lot of respect. When people come by here in the campground, everybody points at it, everybody kind of comments about it. So everybody kind of has their own preference, but I'm a big fan of it itself. So really easy entry into the cab itself for the driver or passenger. Of course, it's not a problem to jump in it. On the other side, do have 2 grab handles for easier entry into the cab. So all the heavier chassis will have a 315 front tire, 18,000 pound front axle, and then we'll generally run a combined 40,000 combined rear capacity. You'll always have a spring ride on your front, and you will have air ride on the rear. They don't offer a heavy duty front axle and an air ride, just for people that are kind of not familiar with them, people that are inquisitive about it. So with the Cascadia and the Detroit, all your emissions will be on the right hand side, so there's no fuel tank, there's nothing to access here other than your emissions devices themselves. All the fuel tanks in your business will be on the other side itself. Get all the storage compartments opened. Hydronic heater in the first compartment here. This does have all the bed liner or the baggage compartments bed lined. Kind of makes it handy to be able to wash them out, wipe them out, and not have to worry about any kind of mold or mildew whenever you do the standard carpet. We did add the cooler here for the customer midweek. All different kinds of configurations in regards to coolers you can do. This is a dual zone, 96 cubic inches, I believe, and they make some others that will do like a little smaller single. So kind of whatever a person might want. Do have a few different 110 connections inside these. Outdoor TV, 43-inch TV, and all. If you do opt for that on 23, basically you get all this stuff, and 24 will be standard, and then a charging USB right there to the right. So dual rooftop awnings. I'm a bigger fan of the aesthetics of that. It kind of cleans up your rooftop. If you see it driving down the road, you don't notice all of your air conditioners and antennas and such like that up on the roof. I like the big compartment right here. This is a 3/4 pass-through. Go ahead and pull this out. So put a lot of, maybe like a long ladder, long table to be able to slide underneath there. It does have, customer opted for the Gen Y torsion. That's what that big hitch right there. Make sure we get all that stuff kind of wrapped up before it does get on the road first thing in the morning. Your last compartment right here will be a central vac. There'll be a port inside underneath the bed that central vac will be ported into. Of course, you can use your tools right here on the outdoor port. So if you need to vacuum a storage compartment or maybe a vehicle, makes it pretty easy to utilize that. The tractor's back. I'm trying to stay out of the way to alleviate some of that tractor noise right now. Well, we're just going to jump in it. Tractor's not moving. We did add the rear ladder here. It's not an option from Renegade, but it's a pretty stout ladder. If you're a little athletic, the issue with coming all the way down is covering the tail lights there. When they used to offer a ladder, they only offered 2 different lights, or 2 lights there, and they were able to kind of move all this stuff over. But a lot of people are pulling a trailer, so you could be able to step on that. And if a person did want a custom ladder to be able to cover that, we can maybe move some of that around. It's aluminum ladder, 250-pound capacity, but I'd imagine you could probably far exceed that. For people that were going to do maybe some type of a like a remote mount Starlink, be pretty handy to be able to access the ladder for a Starlink there. Standard hitch, like I said, that big torsion will go into place here. We'll probably put that in place before it hits the road, just to have one less thing bouncing around the storage compartment. A very convertible, so your standard Gen Y is all convertible. So you could flat tow here, you could tow a trailer here, you could slide a bike rack in. So lots of different configurations with the Gen Y. And this is right about a year ago that became standard. Camera plug right there for people who have a stacker. We got a customer leaving next week with a stacker. It'll be able to plug everything and it'll work great. So right inside here, we'll have the transfer switch. We'll have an automatic cord reel. We'll have a 110 connection that we option, and then a standard 50 amp connection. So if you had a trailer, if you had a friend maybe dry camping somewhere and wanted to be able to plug in and utilize the big 12.5 generator, easily have a button plug in there. 12.5 Onan. The 10 and the 12.5 are basically, they service the same. Very easy to get in, check the oil. I'm a bigger fan of this just because I can get in here and check the oil without having, that's a really short dipstick there, I don't know if you can catch that. Versus the 8Ks, you got a really long dipstick to be able to take and pull out. Of course, 6 quarts of oil in this guy versus about 2.5 in your 8K. So wet bay up front. Very easy to take and fill the coach. That's what I like about everything in your wet bay. It's all water jetted in place. So manual out, automatic in. But if you need to be able to put some water in, basically just run this out, connect there, and then you can fill the tank, or you can use the city pressure. So very, very easy to take and use and operate. It does have a whole house water filter right up top there. So all the water that goes in the coach, whether you're filling the tank or whether you're using the pressure, will be filtered water. So you do have your gray and your black cables right here that run back over to your waste tanks themselves. So you'll have a gray water and black water, 75-gallon a piece, and the customer did option for the macerator system. Makes it a little bit handier, a little bit cleaner. So essentially you just pull this guy out, put it into place, open up your valve, and then turn a switch on right inside your wet bay. So a little bit less risk of getting stuff spilt on you. And then of course, if you do have any kind of issue with this failing right here, you can simply take and just remove that, be able to just manually dump out. Nothing to really see, it's just a continuation of that. And then up front, we do have the dual Victron power inverters. Those are dual 3,000 watt inverters, and we do have 3 of the 270 amp hour lithium batteries there. Good combination in regards to being able to boondock dry camp, utilize one air conditioner off of one power inverter there, and then the rest of the coach, essentially they will kind of split the coach up. So you'll have half the coach and an air conditioner on one, the other half, and your microwave on another there. So small little compartment right here, that'll be your chassis batteries. Of course, driving up and down the road, your house batteries will charge off your alternator, and then when you're plugged in, your chassis batteries will stay charged all off your house batteries as well. So single 120-gallon fuel tank there, and I think that's a 13-gallon def tank. They started doing all of the steps here in essentially a powder coat. The issue in the past was by the time these things got through production, and maybe over any kind of winter months, with those being polished aluminum, they just got beat up pretty bad. So that was a kind of an answer to kind of clean things up, make it a little bit more consistent. There again, entry into the cab, very, very easy. There is a chassis disconnect right here. One piece windshield, so very easy to take and see out, and really a pretty not a cheap windshield, but you're talking $600-700 for a windshield versus a lot of diesel pushers might be in the neighborhood of $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000. So part of your adaptive cruise, which all of these trucks that are brought in with the Detroit will be brought in with the Detroit Assurance. Basically, that's adaptive cruise and crash mitigation. So you really can't see the module center of the windshield. Between that module there and that module there, essentially is all your Detroit Assurance with your adaptive cruise and your crash mitigation. In regards to tow hooks, you do have tow hooks that are right inside the bumper there. They go into place there and there. So we'll jump inside. Once you kind of see how much room you have initially with the slides in, then we'll get everything opened up. So a little bit different color interior here. So natural maple, we'll go into a little bit more detail on that here in a few minutes. You can see full access to your half bath. I could lay down here and utilize this if I needed to. Of course, if I needed to get to the back bath, I'll have to take and climb over, but then we'll take and get swapped around. You'll see how much room we have up front. I can get to my refrigerator, be able to get to my dinette, my full kitchen. Does get a little bit tighter once we get into this particular area right here. So I'm 220. I still have a fair amount of room. If I had some really sweaty legs, you might not appreciate my legs rubbing on the upholstery here. Now this floor plan is available in a configuration to eliminate the televator here and push this guy outwards, or it basically push it back towards the wall, and you'll gain quite a bit of room. In fact, this will push it all the way up against here, so a lot more room, and then take it to the TV. And I believe, Renegade took a pretty hard line in 2023 on can't do this, can't do this. I was able to pull this rabbit out of my hat in regards to doing the natural maple. So I think as time progresses, there might be a little more open to doing a few custom things, given the proper persuasion. So let's go ahead and get everything pushed back out and opened up, and we'll come back. All right, so here we are, nice opened up, plenty of room for activities everywhere. Gives it a much more open feel. The kitchen slide doesn't move out too much, so in general, anytime you have plumbing, you get about 16 to 18 inches, and then slides without plumbing will generally be right about the 32 to 36 inch range. So you get a lot more depth on this guy than you do over here, but still a nice open feeling. So kind of the story with the natural maple, customer came into RV show last year, said, hey, I really like the way that this wood looks, and with a 2-year backlog, we able to get him in a Renegade, and we're able to bring the natural maple over. I've always liked the natural maple. It's a very open feel. Really didn't know kind of which direction to go. I've typically gone more tan tones with the natural maple. The owners of the coach either I guess maybe took a leap of faith and were able to integrate some more gray tones. So for people that have been in the area, that anybody that's visited this area, you need to go to Silver Beach Pizza up in St. Joe, Michigan, and they have a little bar area that's very similar to this. So kind of got my inspiration between natural maple we've used in the past, coupled with some of the gray tones. So really loved the way everything turned out. A very open feel, very classic feel. What I kind of feel will be colors that will kind of transcend time. So many of the gray tone coaches at this day and age have so many things that I really think are probably going to date themselves within a pretty short period of time. So love the way everything turned out. Trying to not sneeze into the microphone. So I just kind of get everything opened up. Ton of room here, ton of room in the pantry. Got some of the electrical here and here. I didn't go into great deal about all of the Victron system, but it's a very well thought out, very well integrated system. Basically lets you know what you're doing with the lithiums, and that's a lot of people's complaints is I don't know what I'm doing, and so that kind of connects all the dots, lets you know how much battery you have left, how much time you have left, kind of what's going on, what kind of solar you're getting, and be able to connect all the dots. So the customer did opt for a dishwasher, which is an option. In my household, you're looking at the dishwasher if you're looking at me. So obviously a matter of preference, but kitchen's pretty good size in the CMR to be able to take and accommodate a dishwasher. So all the drawers, people that don't know, that everything is all dovetail construction. Everything is soft close. Very high-end cabinets, very stout cabinets that are going to take a beating and not fall apart like you would normally see in the rest of the RV world. You can go to other manufacturers in the $700,000-$800,000 price category and see stapled drawers and the non-soft close drawer glides themselves. Single basin sink, that was basically a forced option. No more dual basins. Will that come back around? Who knows? I prefer doing the induction cooktop not recessed. I don't know what to do. I kind of feel a little funky when I got all these covers themselves. I wouldn't even use a sink cover. I'd take those sink covers and put them in the garage and visit them once I sold the coach. So not a big fan of having it, but obviously everybody's kind of your preference. So if you wanted to take and recess that, not a problem. So televator right here, you can control that via a remote. You can control that via Firefly. You can control it via the Mirror app. You can also just go old school right here and be able to take and hold this dude down. So it's auto up and then straight manual, or not, you got to hold the button down. So sound bar above. So come movie time. Put that guy up, and then to be able to see out the window. You just take and hold this. So only one option for this sofa as of right now. Previously they offered a longer sofa, and then the kitchen got a little bit smaller. So this is a jackknife. Unless you're about 5 years old, you really can't sleep on it. Not a lot of room, but if you need to put a small child or maybe a dog bed on there, you take and utilize that. So up top here, I like to do one cabinet on the right hand side. That gives us an 80-inch long mattress, so you're not trying to find some funky bedding that's 100 plus inches long. So basically we've got 60 by 80, so basically a standard size king up top there. We do have the escape hatch because that's a factory option. Not everybody wants the outside ladder. We take and generally put that on there, so you get up, clean up, do any kind of roof inspections, clean up your solar panels up top. So the cab cutouts, this, I don't know why they designed this to be able to completely come out, because I don't know if I would ever take it out, but it is handy to be able to have this additional opening. So standard opening would be right down here, but having the cab cutout, and it's a pretty inexpensive cutout, or a pretty expensive option, so I can get in here, get in and out of the cab without having to come all the way down here. So a lot more open feel. These seats do take, and they're on turning pedestals, to be able to take and kind of bring more of the cab back into the conversion itself. So these are automatic. They are heated. There's a fair amount of storage here. They take and do some USBs and 110 there. But any of the side plugs will be USB-C, so they've come into the 21st century in regards to the phone charging. Storage here, and I'll open up these guys too. All of the dinettes on the Renegade will be convertible, so there's a filler cushion that will go into place right there, and then you do have some USB-Cs on each side there. You'll see this pretty common. Instead of having an opening window right here, just to kind of have less business taking up the space there, doing a picture window. So all heated tile floors. You get basically have a dual zone front and rear. A lot of storage up top here, and then of course all the accent lights that are back. Basically your toe kicks and then some of your roof trim. So we basically, we came on as dealers right about this time in 2020, heavy COVID. I tell you, the CMR, I was not a fan of this general area right here. Back in the day, they had a pocket door here. Everything got a little bit tighter. So back in the day, this was probably at least in a good 8 to 12 inches narrow. So much nicer. It's kind of crazy as time has progressed to have a lot more room in here. So if you have a bag or something like that, you can actually get in here. But imagine me kind of coming in this entryway so much narrow. Really didn't need that pocket door to be able to do your laundry in private or anything you might do in this area. So these are all convertible. So each one of those is adjustable. You could remove those and just simply utilize them as a hanging closet. Not a hanging closet down below, but pretty easy to take and add a hanging portion. Some more storage here. Have the washer dryer here, and then one thing that they do is pretty darn handy. Instead of having, so if you had any kind of leak, instead of you having to pull out your washer dryer to get to any potential leak, before you could get somebody to kind of help you, you do have a really small, very easy to take and operate on-off switch right here, basically on-off valve for your clothes washer. So coming here, I'll do my sitting episode. So lots of room in here. The nice size half bath. They do basically a little corner guy right there, but still a decent room. A little bit of storage up top. You got storage down below. So good to be able to isolate a bath for your guest, or if you have two people on board. And then if you need to enjoy the campground, while you're doing your business. You can easily see out the window. So kind of preferred arrangement back here. There's a few different ways to potentially do this. If you don't want the window at the head of the bed, you could do an egress here. This guy actually obviously has to get quite a bit smaller, and then you could do another configuration where you still keep the egress window at the head of the bed, and then just do some drawers right here. But this is kind of my go-to because you can fit a fair amount of stuff in here and be able to get to the back. For 2024, they're actually doing a full pull-out TV, so you can access that much easier. However, we've noticed whenever that TV closes, it drags just a little bit, just because it's a really big, it's a really big heavy piece. I think they will get the hinges upgraded a little bit, but little stuff like that kind of drives me nuts. And it's cool to be able to take and open that and be able to access it, but ultimately I can kind of get whatever the heck I might need to get here. Cedar lined, that was an option right there. So a ton of storage. That's where he'll hide all his money in the little baby safe there. They'll run a dedicated HDMI. So at this day and age, most people are doing Starlink. So really, the DVDs and Blu-ray players are kind of a thing of the past. But maybe the old big laser disc will come back. So all the Renegade product line, you'll have 275-gallon. Well, all the Renegade product line from Valencia up, you'll get 275-gallon freshwater tanks below the bed, and really easy to take and inspect everything here. You need to take and dump it, pull that valve right there. If you need to take and winterize, you got the clear hose right here, and then you have a valve right there for any kind of winterization. Makes it incredibly simple. Take and winterize this, so you don't have to pay knucklehead RV dealers like me to winterize your stuff. So this particular bed right here is 66 inches wide. It is available in a 72. So the slide itself doesn't get any bigger, but these guys right here basically kind of come out, and then the bed goes all the way side to side. You can tell here I just don't have a ton of room, so not a big fan of the 72, just because it becomes really, really tight within this area right here. Automatic, so you'll have just regular manual jobbies right here to be able to take and drop them, and then you do have a master switch right here. You jump in bed, you forgot a few lights, not a problem. Master lights on and off. Of course, you have the app to be able to take and do that, so lots of redundancy. So come back in the master. There again, plenty of room right here, lots of storage. They do a lot of this. I'm a bigger fan of it. If you have nice towels, matching towels, which most of you that have a well-respected partner will ensure you have nice little matching towels. You take and roll them up and you put them in there, and it's a nice finished look. Versus if I didn't have, I'd just have maybe my old Budweiser towel over there. So storage there, everything is convertible yet again. Customer did opt for the tile right there around the bath, around the toilet. So come back into the master shower. Plenty of room to be able to sit here, be able to shave my legs, whatever I might need to do. If you're a little bit more athletic, shave your legs like this. They don't do the normal caddies that basically kind of go around here and protect that on the tile shower. It's a beautiful tile shower, but I think just go to Bed Bath & Beyond, get your little sticky piece on there, silicone it on there, and you're good to go. So, but like the way that the shower turned out as well. I generally do this for transportation so it doesn't go banging around, but this will raise up and down, and then the head basically turns on and off, and you have a few different adjustments there. So it makes for a pretty darn nice shower. No skylight, but we always option a rear vent right there to be able to get all the moisture condensation out, get all your heat out as well. So very impressed with the color combination inside and out. You know, it's a great relationship dealing with Renegade. You know, all RVs have problems, but in general, there's just, these coaches are, for the most part, ready to put fuel in, put water in, and move on down the road. And that's not to say that, you know, things don't happen, but it's nice being associated with a manufacturer that does a very good finished product. Takes a lot of pride in us, you know, of course, us being up here a lot of the time really kind of solidifies that relationship with dealership and factory. But we always appreciate you guys coming out watching these videos. We have more coming next week. We've got 2024 that should be ready tomorrow afternoon. We'll kind of go over those few different differences between 23 and 24. But it's a great time doing this. We really appreciate it. Glad to be up here in northern Indiana over the summertime. Oddly enough, all the rain's in Texas, and it's dry here. So you never know what you're going to come up against, but make sure you guys keep on coming back. Make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe.